happening? I'd like to tell you a story. You up for a story time? Let's go.
All right. Well, I suppose we start at the beginning. Hi, my name's Michael Langworthy, if you don't know me already, and I live in northern Michigan. And currently, I'm sitting in my 2003 Chevrolet Corvette 50th Anniversary Special Edition. And this is my first Corvette, and I love her very much. Her name is Scarlett, by the way. And I just wanted to talk about where my love of cars came from, kind of my journey to this car and what it means to me, because the phrase "it's just a car" really kind of rubs me the wrong way. And anybody that has pursued a dream, it doesn't have to be the car or the material thing in particular, but having a long-term goal that you set and achieve and make it a reality, it's not just a car, man. And it expands beyond just the self-accomplishment. You know, I came from very humble blue-collar upbringing, and I still am not rich by any means, still a blue-collar worker, out there grinding every day, doing the 40-hour work week. And, my wife and I have done a lot to improve where we're at and keep going. And we finally got to a point where I could get this. And not only has it opened me up to the entire Corvette community, but it also helped me share something with my dad, because that's kind of where my love for cars came from. Even though we were not well-to-do, and my dad wasn't really into cars when I was younger. Of course, he had some when he was a teenager and whatever, and I've heard lots of stories about him getting up to shenanigans. But once he became a family man, there is myself, and I have two younger sisters, and we didn't really have cool cars when I was growing up. So to be able to get to the point where I have a couple of them has been a long journey. So where it kind of started for me was with Smokey and the Bandit, actually. Not a Corvette thing, but a Trans Am thing. One of the guys that my dad worked with lived just down the road from us, and he had in his pole barn a beautiful Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am, which he polished all the time. And I got to see it when I was about 8 or 9 years old. And at the time, that was the single most beautiful car that I had ever laid eyes on. And so I thought it was really cool. And then Knight Rider came out, and again, it was a Trans Am. So actually, you could say my first kind of love for cars came with the Pontiac Trans Am. But then shortly after that, I was exposed to a movie called Corvette Summer. And you might have seen it, you might not, but that's an early Mark Hamill movie, and they have a beautiful car in that movie. And it was that point forward that the Corvette was on my radar. I know a lot of people talk about the 63 split window, which is a gorgeous, timeless car, but that's not where it started for me. It was actually the third generation Corvette. And the long lines on that hood and the flared fenders just was a beautiful rolling piece of art for me. And as I grew up, I would see them, and I would see them here and there. And of course, the C4 came along, and it was a little different, a little more subdued, and that has its own following. But right around 96, 97, of course, we started getting the pictures leaked for the redesign and the launch of the C5. And I just happened to be coming of age to get my driver's license in 97. And so at that point, it absolutely solidified my want, love, and obsession for the Corvette. And I had so many pictures of that car. Everybody talks about the posters on their wall. And I didn't have posters on my wall. That was all basketball stuff because I played basketball. So I had a bunch of basketball players and whatever. But on my computer, hundreds of Corvette pictures, all wallpapers and everything. And I would rotate wallpapers every week or every day, even search the internet back in the day of dial-up and try to find whatever I could about the 5th generation Corvette. And you fast forward a number of years just working, and eventually I got married. I got married in June of 2001, and my wife and I worked and raised our family. Again, watching the Corvette evolve and see its different iterations. And then came to the point where the kids grew up and they're out of the house. And that's where the hunt started. So we're in the position with the kids out of the house and our first place paid for, where we're searching for our next house. And, you know, the housing market, as we all know, has went bonkers, and it's not the most financially sound decision, in my opinion, to buy a place right now with overinflated prices and now rising interest rates and stuff. And so after 2 years of looking for a house, we really kind of didn't get anywhere with it. And so I said, you know what? This is just not worth it. We're at a point now anyways where we're trying to transition and take our careers elsewhere and maybe move. So to buy a house now when we think we're going to be leaving anyways, I was like, you know what? We can afford it. And watching the market like I do, because any car guy that wants a car, you know, you're always watching the market and seeing how things are going and always looking for that next car. You know, even as soon as you buy a car, you're looking for the next car, right? And so I'm scouring the markets, looking for different listings of Corvettes. And I see one in my area, a little outside of my area. And it is a good example, but it's rough. And Scarlett here, she does have a lot of miles on her. But you know, you understand the punchline at the end of this. You know, I bought the car, but I got her for a great price because I said, you know, if not today, then when? Because the market's just going up. She's a 6-speed manual, and if I don't pull the trigger now when I can afford it, I don't know when the next opportunity is going to be. And so maybe to the original chagrin of my wife, I pulled the trigger and I bought this car because it was a realization come true, you know, 20 something years later. And it was actually, I didn't know it at the time, but it was almost 1 year to the day after my visit to the Corvette Museum that I bought her. Because we had went to the Corvette Museum for our 20th anniversary, and it was one of the bucket list items that I had, and my wife provided that for me, and I provided a bucket list item for her, and we went and we toured the Corvette Museum, and I got track experience, and I have pictures from that, and I drove the beautiful Sebring orange C8 around the track, and it was awesome. And so that, you know, fast forwards us to the point where I find this car and my wife says, you know, I think you should bring mom and dad. I think that they would enjoy that. And I said, you know what? You're right. And I'm surprised I didn't think about it. Because, you know, that's where everything kind of started. And my dad has wanted a Corvette as well. And that's the next chapter of my story. So my dad wanting to get a car was something that seemed like a dream, because working blue collar stuff and having 3 kids, it just really wasn't feasible for him. Well, unfortunately, while he was working his job and he was driving on his way into work, he had a massive stroke while driving. There was a blood clot that had developed in his shoulder from a torn muscle while he was working. And that blood clot let loose and went into his brain. and he stroked out while he was driving. During the course of the stroke, he went right through an intersection. Thankfully, he didn't hit anyone, and nobody hit him, and the state police managed to get him pulled over. And at first, they thought maybe that it was like a drunk driving situation or whatnot, but then going through medical checks and whatever, they realized it was a medical thing, and they rushed him to the hospital and found out what was going on. And then they called my mom, and my mom called me and said, Dad's had a stroke. We need to get to the hospital. So at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, we rushed to our local hospital where we had to deal with that. And he was airlifted to Pontiac, Michigan, to St. John's, where he was in ICU for 7 days. And thankfully, my dad made it through. But as a result of that stroke, he is now medically disabled. And so his pursuit of his Corvette is kind of out of sight now, not exactly attainable. And for me to be able to get a Corvette and share it with my dad is something that I cannot put a price on. It's been amazing. And I said before in a post on Facebook, like, the car could blow up tomorrow. And just the fact that I was able to share it with my dad is absolutely worth it. And so I'll tell you about the drive when I finally did pull the trigger. So we got in their car because my 2012 CTS Coupe only has, well, it does have 4 seats, but it's kind of a cramped situation for my mom and dad. And so we took their car, and I drove, and I took all the back roads to this place. It's about 80 miles from where we live. And my mom was like, what are we doing? Where are we going? And I said, we're almost there. Please just wait. We're almost there. Well, I gotta pee. So we, when we were about a mile out, I said, Mom, what's the one thing that I've talked about my whole life that, the longest that I can remember? What's the one thing that's been constant? She said, getting a Corvette. I was like, yeah. She's like, no way. No. Yeah, no, we're going to go. And we pulled into this very small dealership out kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I parked the car right in front of this car. And I said, Mom, Dad, I would like you to say hello to my new to me 2003 Chevrolet Corvette. And I have a clip of it, and I'll share it right here. You can watch it. It was cool.
Okay, we have almost arrived at our destination. We are going to take, I believe, a left-hand turn. We're going to take a right-hand turn. We're going to go straight. Okay. Charades back here. We're going to go straight.
So, of all the things in life that I've wanted to do, in all the different stuff that we've talked about, what's one thing that's been constant?
You want a bet?
Yeah. There is a whole lot of searching that was involved in this. But right here, we are arriving to where...
That red thing? The red vet?
That right there.
Tell them why we're here.
Mom and Dad, this is my 2003 50th anniversary.
Are you shitting me?
6-speed manual Corvette.
Michael!
Here.
No.
Michael!
No lie, no shit.
We got the check in the wallet. We came up. We came up to get Mike his Corvette. And we wanted you to be here for it.
Michael! Michael.
The interior is in rough shape, but this is my
Needs a
car.
little help, but this is his car.
How'd you get this?
A lot of work, good credit.
Mikey?
It's been sitting outside, so it's dirty.
Hey.
What do you think?
Nice, Mike.
Good golly almighty. Holy crap, son.
I wanted you guys to be here when this happened.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I did all the paperwork, and I was given the keys, and my dad rode with me when we left the dealership, and it was an incredible moment to share with them, and I'm so glad that they were able to see me become a Corvette owner. And I lost it a little bit. I got choked up, because like I said, I'd wanted this car since I was 17 years old. I'm 41 now, by the way. And I know that there are other people out there that are younger than me, but I'm the youngest Corvette owner I know. And that's something that I'm pretty proud of as well, because I've put in the work to get what I wanted. And I realized my dream. I'm sitting in my dream right now. It's no longer this thing that is off and away. In all the times I drove different roads and thought about it would be so cool to ride down this road and shift through the gears in my Corvette. And I've done that. And I've got to share the experience and meet all these fantastic people, because I'm pretty sure you guys know the Corvette community is amazing, and it's so welcoming and awesome to just be part of it, and not just this little fan running around looking at people and wishing that I had their car or whatever. I'm in that group. And every chance I get, I share with any little kid that wants to sit in it, even an adult. I don't care. If you have dreamed about owning a car like this, especially a Corvette, absolutely. My interior is not pristine. The car has a lot of miles on it. It's not a great showroom example of a car. It's a driver. I've already put over 1,000 miles on it, and I just got it Father's Day of this year. And I'm going to continue to facilitate that for people as much as I can. And that has been a goal, and it's been something that brings me so much joy. And I got to do it on the next level, which is this point. So my dad has been medically disabled because of the stroke, right? And he hasn't been able to drive because it's just too much input. But he has been practicing because he's gotten a lot better. He's done a lot of therapy and whatever, and he's more active now. And so he's getting along better, and he practiced in my mom and dad's car on the back roads, of course, in a very safe situation, just trying to get the feel for it again. And I have my winter car out there, and we were doing some work on it. And I said, Dad, you want to drive again? He's like, yeah, that'd be really cool. And so we took my winter car. It's a Chevy Malibu LTZ. And I let him drive around and check everything out. And he's like, yeah, everything's good and whatever. And so we went back home with the Malibu. And then, it was my time to go back home and whatever. And I said, Dad, let's go for one more ride. And I'll take you for another ride in the Corvette. And he's been in it a couple of times. But he didn't know what was going to happen. We got to the end of one of the roads, and they live out in the country a little bit, and there's a nice paved road, and it's all just been resurfaced. And I stopped the car at the intersection, hit the e-brake, and put it, I had it in neutral, and I said, okay, it's your turn. And he's like, what? I said, it's your turn to drive. Come on. And he got out, came around the car, and got situated in the driver's seat, which I actually have a clip now. Here, watch this. Have you ever driven a Corvette at all?
No, first time.
You can rev it to about 6,000 RPM before you have to shift, but just find out where it is. I know it's a hard throw.
I don't want to mess up things when I'm going easy. It drives nice.
Well, if you were to mess anything up, it'd be fine because I haven't fixed anything yet. So
But to go up that hill, do I leave it in fourth or go I?
yeah, leave it in fourth and just get after it a little bit. At 350 horsepower, it'll handle it. Yeah, just keep it straight.
What's that?
Just keep it straight. Wanted to do this for a while. Find it? I think you got it. I was wondering if your leg would be strong enough to clutch in.
Yeah, I got it. I just don't want to burn the clutch up, so I'm trying to shift as fast as I can. I'll just go up here and turn around and come back.
Okay.
Drives nice. Thank you for letting me drive it.
You're welcome. I wanted you to be able to do this for a long time. Once Mom said that you were practicing, and
Yeah,
then you drove the other car just now.
I drove the other car from the. Okay,
Give it some
you
revs.
said you can go up to $6 grand with it.
Yep.
Okay.
Get it. Give it gas. Give it gas. Just keep it straight and center and we're good. What do you think?
Good. It's nice, man.
I told him, take his time, get situated, get everything figured out, and we can go as slow or as fast as you want to go. You remember how to drive a stick, don't you? Yeah, I do. Okay. Well, whenever you're ready. And he practiced clutching in, he could reach, and he had everything situated. I said, all right, Dad, let's go. And so my dad's first ever drive of a Corvette was my Corvette. It wasn't one of my friends at a show that gave him a ride or let him drive. It was me in my Corvette. And again, I can't put a price on that experience. I facilitated that dream for him. So now not only my dream came true, but I was able to help his dream come true, which I don't know what else to say about that. So I'm so thankful for the chance to be able to work and earn it. And I can sit in this car and I know that this is not just a car. This is a lifetime of work. This is a new lifetime of experiences that I've gotten to share with other people. I've got to be part of a fantastic community. I've made new friends and had new conversations just because of this car. And I'm going to drive it as much as I can for as long as I can, as long as I'm afforded the opportunity. And maybe eventually I'll get another one. But I know this one, unless something catastrophic happens, come hell or high water, I will keep this car. I will not sell it. I don't care how many dollars is ever offered to me, because my dad's first drive of Corvette was this one. My first Corvette was this one. I'll sell everything else that I can to keep it or to upgrade. I'm going to have this car forever, as long as the world will let me have it. You know, I hope nothing happens to me or the car in some crazy accident. But yeah, that's my Corvette story, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope that it inspires somebody, even if it's one person. It's not about me bragging that, hey, I have a Corvette. It's about the fact that it was a long-term goal I set long ago, and I went after it, and there was distractions, and there were bumps in the road, and there was obstacles, but eventually I got my Corvette, and I got to share it with my dad. And there is no price that can ever be put on that. And so if you're thinking about it, if you're in a position where it could possibly work, I want you to make sure, of course, that your family's taken care of. Make sure that your needs are met. But if you can do it, do not hesitate. Do not think, oh, well, in another 5 years, I'll do it, because we don't know that we're going to be here in another 5 years. That's part of the reason that I did it in the first place. I could have the plan in place where I know that in exactly 2 years, I'm going to buy my dream Corvette, and I'm going to share it with my dad. But what happens if I get in an accident and I die? Or something happens to my dad? He made it through his first stroke, and thankfully he's still with me. But what if I saved up all that time and I was hoping to do it, but then it was too late? I don't want it to be too late. And I'm glad that I did pull the trigger on this car, because it wasn't too late. And we got to have that experience together. And I hope that we have more. And so I just want you guys to take that with you. Be inspired. Work hard, man. Don't be lazy. Put in the work. When you know what you want to work for, go to work. I'm thankful for the opportunity that I get to earn a paycheck, because I get to do things like this. I get to drive this car around. I get to ride around with the top off in a sunshine-filled day. And, it all came with the work and the patience, because it didn't just happen tomorrow. It happened years, decades down the road. But it happened because I kept it in mind and I pursued it. Simon Sinek says, know your why. And it's really easy to go to work at your crappy job when you get to go home in your really cool car. All right. I suppose that'll be it for now. Thanks, guys. Be inspired. Go to work. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care. Peace.